with so many requests and asks. I mean, it might only be 10 or 15, but that's a lot for this channel. We ran real long today doing stuff for people, and I thought there was a lot of interesting things that came up over the last few days. And how do you do this when you don't have it? Things are going to start coming out soon. I've been doing reactions all day. And I guess I want to filter the day, the English politician with the clickbait Masonic title, the mindset and sovereign citizen project, and some of the anti-war videos and some of the other stuff, reactions I did today. And I thought I'd come back here, filter it all through this, because I had filtered all of that through Passio's ideas. And I just thought it kind of bring me full circle today until I can get back to music reactions. I just needed I needed to step back from the music reactions for a second and expand my mind a little.
Truth and then poison it with that one thing. Morpheus is correct. Our choices set that causality into motion before it becomes an effect. And the Merovingian tries to tell him, no, there is no free will.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the dark occultist will give you the bulk of truth and then poison it with that one thing he wants to get you to accept. Okay?
Oh,
so,
shit, it was right there at the beginning. I took offense to the sovereign person using elite. It's just a word, and but I applied it the way Mark applies things here. I was like, why pick that? Why place yourself on a pedestal if you're trying to free people? So it was very interesting. Hey, this was a good idea.
Next thing that needs to be understood is the two planes. All right, there's the plane of effects, and then there's the plane of causes. No power to affect any change lies on the plane of effects, which is the physical manifested reality. Again, what already is, nothing can be done about. What already is, you cannot change. You cannot change the past. You can change what it is starting now and make sure that it gets changed in the future. But right now, what is the truth, and all you can do is accept that or reject it. You can't change the past. So the physical world that is manifested up to this point happened because of things that occurred in the past. The causes happened in the past. Nothing you can do about that right now. Okay? The plane of effects, or the physical world, is where manifested realities have already occurred, have already taken shape, have already formed due to their underlying causal factors. The plane of effects constitutes that which has already occurred. As such, no power to effect change lies here, because that which has already occurred cannot unoccur. That which has occurred can't undo itself. It happened, it's already done. It has become that which is, or truth. Human consciousness seems to be trapped upon the plane of effects, meaning that humanity as a whole remains ignorant of the underlying causes which they themselves have set into motion and which lead to self-inflicted suffering in their lives. So if you're trapped at this level, what you're doing is you're looking at the symptoms, and you're stuck looking at the symptoms. Okay? This is everybody. Oh, there's a political solution to this. We need to vote in the right people. Oh, there's a financial solution to this. We just need to set the right monetary policy. No, there's a scientific solution to this. And technological advancements are going to be made that suddenly save ourselves and make the world any different. And they think all of this is going to be done while slavery is still in place. Well, again, good luck with that. And let me know how it works out. Okay? I speak at free energy-related events. I work with the Tesla Science Foundation. I speak at MUFON-related events that talk about disclosure of extraterrestrial presence, okay? Both of these communities don't understand. The things that they say they want are impossible.
It is viewable right now. We have a literal time machine. the amount of UFO disclosure that's being offered to people right now appears like it would be sufficient to move the hearts and minds of the masses. Okay? It feels like it should be. We're not, it doesn't seem like we're getting that. It's literally now just pop culture content. If you're into UFO stuff, you could go crazy. There are leaders of countries telling you it's true now. But the masses, I went down the blue beam and they're going to create an alien invasion to this, that, and the other. And I don't think any of it will work. Because I didn't think about this. This is a good refresher for me. We're in whatever was created that led up to this moment. We're in the affected by it, or the blowback is being created, which is one of the right cause and effects. You create that a movement, then you'll create and get blowback from the movement created, which is weird because that's sort of like a ripple that's pushed forward. It's going to happen. You're going to get that. Huh. That's interesting. I'm thinking, I'm maybe thinking more quantum theory wrapped into this right now. That there are, sure, yes, causes can create future effects. Sure, so then there can be ripples that move forward. Point being, the UFO people, I don't think are going to be able to free themselves at all with their UFO. You're not going to unite the planet with the Independence Day speech. That moment in time is gone already. And how I see it is years and years ago. I mean, 14 years ago, I was watching videos of random insane people acting out on college campuses. Those random people acting out became groups of people cosplaying together. Then became like a political movement. Then literally introduced rules and regulations to society, and now I'm living through the blowback of it all happening. While it was happening, nobody had the courage to say, okay, a few people did, and pointed out, that's a little insane. Should we be using that? Is that a platform for change? No, they all just kept dyeing their hair and going crazier. I'm giving you a Cliff Notes version, but and society right now is created a blowback to that movement like they never saw before. I mean, they think the Third Reich is back when they don't realize they pushed cat boxes into schools. It's funny how, as the things are going on, this is very interesting. Because I think we have some strong evidence of these rules playing out now in a timeline where we were able to go back. Well, we could go back to when this was dropped. We could go back to when these things happened. You could go back, way back. PCU. Comedy. God, that goes back a long ways. Now that means there was already enough activist wackos on campus that they were making a satirical skewing of it in a comedy movie. So it had to be big enough that it was noticed by writers to write a comedy skit about it. It was fringe ideas at the time, but it built up enough. So, I mean, we have a record of, let's say, the current state we're in building up. And the question is, why didn't we, as we can tell here, we're being told we can't do nothing about it now. Doesn't that mean we have to jump on things as they're happening We can't just allow them to play out and then live in the world they create.
Possible. And I'm going to start talking about them in this way more openly. Because I've kind of like given them some soft teachings, and I think they need to hear it a little bit more harshly. Because both of these communities are not talking about morality to the extent that they need to. They think we're going to have free energy, but nothing's going to change as far as the social structure of the world.
All right, you got to go watch you don't have to, but it's connected. So I had this moment where the gentleman talked about being sovereign to do whatever they want, free to do whatever they want. And free to serve self and start the cycle all over? Free to feel you've gained so much power that you can't be told no, so you engage in whatever deviancy and decadence that you enjoy? We don't get out of it, because that same person that can't be told no wants to enslave someone to do something. Suffer, serve. Sacrifice.
Goes, we'll just develop free energy and that'll magically save us.
No.
We'll still have slavery, but free energy will be here and the world will be a magically better place.
It's going to be so much easier to enslave people with free energy. Do they ever talk about that at their... So if you give free energy, free, you've all given up your right to defend yourself. First off, most people should never use the fucking word free. I had that taken away, so I am as pro do what you can do within the grind, do what you got to do. Because there's a hole in a lot of these arguments. And you create free energy, the system that wants to control you is going to access that free energy as well. They know how to harness energy. You playing fucking Nintendo smoking bong hits isn't it. And I know what I do. All the free energy in the world isn't going to... What? So I don't have to pay to sit here and yell at the fucking computer? What's it going to help me? Because if you could engineer a new future, you don't need free energy to do it. You just need to start engineering that new future. Someone will even probably support you and pay for it. Maybe you just got to protect yourself from getting robbed. I don't know. But free energy isn't going to turn everybody into a creative human being. Ever. We lack creativity. We allowed it to get sucked right out of our heads. Come on. I see people sitting at the dinner table looking at their phones. You have no reason why. Fuck you. Cook at home.
The UFO community, they often think, we're going to get disclosure. They're going to come out and tell us everything we know about other intelligences that are out there in the galaxy and in the universe with us, okay? And they think they're going to get that in a climate of slavery. Well, good luck with all those things. You got to take down the existing structure first, okay? People think, we got to build the new world while the old one decays. You have to destroy the existing power structure with the power of truth before anything new is going to grow here.
And then for how I manifest that idea is that the blood sacrifice, the Luciferian blood sacrifice cults, the elites that can't be told no, those who take part in the cremation of care, is that. That's the power structure. It's them. It's not a bridge. It's not the channel drill. It's anyone who wields it for self, which is the takeaway of a lot of this learning. So I hate to spoiler alert, but the difference is, why create just for your own benefit? We'd have to learn to create for each other's benefit, an actual care for each other, not the exploitation that we experience now, huh?
Because this place is a garden full of weeds, of poisoned ideologies and completely erroneous belief systems that have no bearing on truth whatsoever and cannot get us what we say we want. Until those thoughts are changed, don't expect the results you want. So to the free energy movement, I say you're never going to get free energy in a climate of slavery. To the UFO community, I say you will never get disclosure in a climate of slavery. Slavery has to end first. Then you could get what you say you want. So, again, no power to effect any change lies in the world of effects. Cannot be done. You are rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic while it sinks. You're not creating any change doing those things because the underlying causes aren't changing. And the underlying causes are how we think, how we feel, and how we behave.
Okay, I'm working on those right now. I'm not doing the best, but I'm getting, today's been a good day. Not for numbers. We're tanking our numbers today, but for personal self-growth, it's huge. Because I identify, personally, I think I'm just patting myself on the back, but what the fuck? I identified the first somewhat, now, hey, much respect. You're probably listening right now. I gave you my honest opinion. The whoever gave us the is whoever a Mason. Well, that's clickbait, or English politics. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm clear. I live in Northwest Wisconsin. I've outed myself many times. So the rest of it I couldn't relate to, but some of the issues were very interesting. And then the sovereign thing, I mean, there's a lot of problems over there. It literally, I ended up like LARPing at clerical, it's a clerical role play without changing the system, just pretending you can somehow separate yourself from it. How can you separate yourself from something that's going on next door? Are you kidding? Jim Bob beating his kids. I'm going to go put my foot up Jim Bob's ass. I ain't calling the fucking cops. I'm tired. I still... Fuck. You kids, you go play somewhere else. Get out of your yard. Okay, they do. Rollen, I buy rocks from them. They're nothing special. When I pick through the rocks, I act like I'm getting a fucking diamond. They know I'm mean. They know I don't like anybody. But out of everyone around here, I'll take a little time to play their game. Give them a little care, a feeling better than the nothing they had riding around in circles on their bikes. Then maybe a positive lesson, boundaries, and certain things that are acceptable when a little person dealing with a full-grown adult, almost a stranger. But the simple truth is you have to reach out. You got to do something. It's everywhere. And if it was something bad, you might have to actually be brave and deal with it other than filming it and trying to get a viral video paid for. That broke society there.
And no one wants to look at that. They want to think all those things can stay in place and I could magically get what I want. I want to keep my hand over the fire, but I don't want it to burn and blister. Well, enjoy. See, find out what you get when you do that, because that's what we're doing when it comes to natural law. So let's look at the plane of causality. This is the other plane. This is the mental realm, the mental world. Again, according to the law of mentalism, the first principle of natural law, everything that manifests must first manifest in mind before it can manifest physically. So again, if the plane of causality is the mental world that's generating the causes in mind, okay, Everything is happening there first, and then it is trickling down to the physical domain. It is manifesting in the physical domain only after it has manifested in the mental world. The plane of causality is where causes are set into motion prior to those causes manifesting as formed realities in the plane of effects. This plane of causality...
That's my the college activist example. They manifested in rare occasions. To some of us, they looked like insanity. Then they got ignored by the masses. That's why we keep using the LARP, live action role play, meme, joke, gag, line. Because that's what I think the normies are doing. I think we are now Matrix-esque LARPing at reality. And I've said it before, I think this is very common, pretending that our own little piece of everything is all we have to worry about till it gets to our back door. And that is a whole lot of denial to exist within.
Causality constitutes the causal factors, the why, which underlies and precedes all manifested things and events. All power to effect change lies on this plane of reality. Human consciousness must move away from the plane of effects and to the plane of causality in order for human beings to understand the causal factors of the conditions which they are collectively manifesting in their lives. Only then will humanity be able to co-create their shared reality on a conscious level, meaning with an understanding of how natural law operates, rather than on an unconscious level, meaning that we don't understand how natural law operates. And I just look at it in a simple graphic, in a simple, chart or graph. This is the higher realm. This is the world of causality, the mental world, the why, the underlying causal factors, okay, that precede conditions which are manifested. This is where our consciousness has to go, because this is where all power to effect change is at, in the understanding of why that manifested to begin with. So these are the symptoms. This line could be looked at as the diagnosis. You have to make that diagnosis and get to the underlying causal factors that lead to the symptoms. Okay? The plane of effects, on the other hand, meaning the physical world, is the manifested realm. That which has already occurred, that cannot be undone. At least in the present moment. You could start in the present to undo it in the future. But as far as the present moment and all...
And I'm sure you realize that has nothing to do with, blowing it all up at once. A ridiculous Hollywood answer that popped into my head. I don't think that has anything to do with the discussion. But of course, anything can be destroyed with the push of a button at the same time. They could get a lot of the known reality wiped off existence easily. Sorry, I'm triggered by upcoming escalations in warfare that we were told weren't going to happen. That's all right. I've been lied to before. And I knew. I'm not stupid. I knew. As I've said, I have always went with the group that believes, life is sacred. And we pay too many taxes. I don't know. That's a group, right? I'm pretty sure that's as simple as it gets. The rest of it is I pretty got to show up to work.
Moments in the past go, you're not changing that. That's truth. No, that's what is. Okay? That's already manifested. Yeah. You can't change it. No power to affect change lies in continuously analyzing the symptoms. You got to do that long enough that you know where the problem's at. You've made the diagnosis. Now you can get to the causal factors and start going to work changing those causes. Okay? Unfortunately, this plane, the plane of effect, seems to be where human consciousness in the aggregate is trapped. It can't seem to get past there. Even if it recognizes the problem, it wants to keep describing the problem. It wants to keep describing the prison. It doesn't want to look at the causal factors because it's afraid of what the causal factors are.
Oh, for today. Yeah, we'll go right there for today. Because that is, yeah. That's why I pick what I pick in all them weird arguments right now. Because now with the final nail in the coffin, we're just supposed to forget that this group exists. Well, then that group has to be in ultimate power. They're this close to being exposed, and they're all in on it. Unbelievable. So I believe that I have picked the right enemy.
You have to make that diagnosis and get to the underlying causal factors that lead to the symptoms. Okay? The plane of effects, on the other hand, meaning the physical world, is the manifested realm. That which has already occurred, that cannot be undone. At least in the present moment. You could start in the present to undo it in the future. But as far as the present moment and all moments in the past go, you're not changing that. That's truth. That's what is. Okay? That's already manifested. You can't change it. No power to affect change lies in continuously analyzing the symptoms. You got to do that long enough that you know where the problem's at. You've made the diagnosis. Now you can get to the causal factors and start going to work changing those causes. Okay? Unfortunately, this plane, the plane of effect, seems to be where human consciousness in the aggregate is trapped. It can't seem to get past there. Even if it recognizes the problem, it wants to keep describing the problem. It wants to keep describing the prison. It doesn't want to look at the causal factors because it's afraid of what the causal factors are. It doesn't want to acknowledge the causal factors lie in how we think, feel, and act, and until those things are changed, the external manifestation cannot change.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how I was, I saw it clear. It's the fear. How do you convince a person to have that conversation when they're, oh, good, we get to go to bags together. I don't want it to go south on us. My day is coming to an end, and I feel like I haven't did nothing of value yet. I think I have, and I think I made plenty of discoveries, and I think believing that, they created this world of consumption for us to gorge ourselves on. I'm pretty sure consumption, addiction is part of the control system, and it's being used by the people who understand this, who also covet and destroy innocence, sacrificing it to their blood sacrifice gods. Why? Because they believe in it. I don't know I can't remember. I don't know how to wrap it up, and I don't want to quit after a half hour in. Maybe we just go on a little farther. Find a better ending now, being that fell apart on me.
Takes responsibility. The final principle of the 7 principles of natural law, at least the formalized ones, are gender. Again, I'm going to talk about an 8th lost one. Gender exists in everything. Everything has its masculine and its feminine components or principles. We've already seen that when it comes to the human brain, consciousness, worldview, etc. Gender manifests on all planes of existence: spiritual, mental, physical, everything. Okay? Very simple concept. What I want to briefly talk about is mental gender. Mental gender is the state of coexistence between the masculine and feminine aspects of the mind. Again, we've already looked at this. We looked at the breakdown of the physiology of the brain, at least of the higher order part of the brain, the neocortex.
Yeah, we'll go a little bit farther into it. This does actually make for a better ending. The difficulties with language being corrupted to completely skew this part of it all is pretty obvious to me now because I see referencing the activists on the campuses, the insane acting outs, and then warping it all. Oh, it is a corrupt New Age movement spell. Because the balance is a good thing. You want the balance in the right in the well, what he's gonna say here, and they want it manifested in a sexual, only a sexual component, not a conscience thing. Oh, they try with their all their weird things, but it always ends up being some fetish driven bullshit.
Our left brain hemisphere largely facilitates the masculine aspects of the mind, or the intellect, logic, analytical thought, linear thought processes, while the right brain hemisphere largely facilitates the feminine aspect, or intuition, meaning creativity, compassion, and holistic thought processes. This next section is what I call the lost principle. This is the 8th principle of natural law, which binds all of the other principles together.
We'll finish this.
Okay? It is what I would call the encapsulating principle. Okay? It's the container inside which all the other principles fit very nicely and neatly. However, it's lost because we're not exercising it. See, we already looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 principles of natural law. And there they are represented by these circles overlapping each other. Okay? Can anybody see an 8th circle anywhere? You got it. Correct. Here's the 8th circle. And this might look familiar. You might have seen this somewhere. Okay? This pattern is called something. Does anybody know what this pattern is called? What is it? Not the flower of life. The seed of life. The seed of life. Okay? Now, what happens from a seed? It grows. It generates something. It creates something. A seed has an outer casing, an outer shell. Okay? Then if you're going to get to the inner core of it that contains all of the creative, genetic, generative material, okay, that shell has to be there and intact. You break the shell of the seed, the creative essence of the seed is going to be gone. Okay? Now, what is that principle? Here's what that principle is. It's the 8th, or what I call the lost principle. And it's the thing that has to be present in order for any change to manifest itself. And it is not what most people think of it as. Even when I tell you what this is, I guarantee you there will be an inaccurate connotative meaning for what people think this means. Okay? Here's what the 8th principle is. It is known as the generative principle, or the principle which governs creation, which actually is the causal factor that goes into effect and generates the result that we say that we want. But what's the real term for it? Who can guess what the actual term, what the generative principle of creation actually is? No, it is not action. Okay, now most people will say it's love. I want to distinguish it from the concept of love, even as I'm going to describe love in this presentation a little bit later on. Okay? What is it?
Procreation.
No? What? Somebody said it. But somebody said something else. No? Who? Care. There it is. Okay? The generative principle is care. Now, this is different than compassion. People say, why don't you use the word compassion? Because that's not what I'm talking about. It is a different concept than compassion, or even what I would describe as love. Care, and I mean care with a capital C, and here I didn't even...
I guess we've, if you've been watching long enough, and this is your first time through, this would... cornerstone of the channel. I even give my love, because I think love is a effed up concept. I think it's poetry. But I do understand care now. I don't have the wrong understanding of it and haven't for a long time.
Put it with a capital C. Just put it in all uppercase care. Distinguish this from care with a lowercase c, okay? This means, what are you giving attention and helping to grow? What are you focusing upon? Because what focus you're focusing upon, that's what's ultimately getting generated, getting created, and growing. And this doesn't mean be ignorant of what's going on in the world and don't look at anything that's negative, because you're going to feed that and give power to it. That's not what it means. Okay? That means, you know what you're feeding? In that instance, if you want to do that, you're feeding ignorance. And that's what's going to grow. It's the exact opposite that the New Agers want you to believe that it is. By ignoring the negative, you are ensuring that more of it occurs. You are fueling it by ignorance, ensuring that it grows and takes over.
Yeah. Oh, we'll pick back up with care. That does wrap it up. That's why, because I know my enemy now. And as always, it's because they've destroyed care to enslave us all. And on top of it, they use secret islands to blackmail each other with the most atrocious of behaviors, probably stemming from Crowleyan sex magic, if we're starting to get the main idea. Because it appears that the toolkit isn't really shooting fire from anyone's fingertips. It's creating a mindset to free them from the slavery of the system. And then the sovereign mindset had a lot to do with what we're talking about now, too. Some good ideas over there. Just some bad rhetoric. But damn good ideas. So, that'll do it. It has been a long day. We really did start this morning. I think almost 10, I don't know, 9. I've been going all day. Going to spread it all out over a while. So I hope it works out. Otherwise, we'll be back with part 17 soon.